Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading for the week of June 13th to June 19th, 2022. This is a general reading, so feel free to take whatever resonates and leave behind for others whatever does not. To dive deeper into what the week holds for you, be sure to check out your readings for your sun, moon, and rising signs. On June 13th, Mercury, which rules messages and the mind, enters its home sign of Gemini. On June 14th, there is a strawberry supermoon in Sagittarius, which is your sign, and it inspires adventure, expansion of the mind, and seeing what's ripe for the picking. This reading explores those themes. In this first column here, we have a message from the collective unconscious. You have Horseman, Herald of Change. You also have Death, Tower, Page of Swords. In this middle column, we get a message from your higher self. You have Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive. You have Sun, Knight of Cups, Six of Swords. And move this out a bit. And in this third column, we find out where your truth is leading you. You have this first house of arrival. You have Six of Swords. Oh, sorry, no. You have Sun, Knight of Cups, Six of Swords, and the Swan Spirit. And first house of arrival, you have Five of Cups, Five of Swords, Page of Cups. I'm going to move this out a little bit more. We'll go through the meanings, and then we'll get further clarification with more tarot cards. Okay, so Horseman, Herald of Change. Well, it indicates there are big changes coming on, especially with the Tower and the Death card. Perhaps for some of you, it's a change that already has come. It may have been a sudden shock to the system. Maybe, lost a job, lost an argument or a relationship. And what's interesting is this is a call for changing and a change for spreading good news. And, looking at the positive, with the Tower, it's not usually seen as a positive, but it is usually divine intervention coming in and clearing the path for you to do what needs to be done, to let go of what is not serving your best and highest good. So basically, it does kind of indicate that this has kind of already occurred. This Tower moment has already occurred, and that you could be in this transformation stage. With the Page of Swords here, it is an opportunity. It's another card of good news. It's an opportunity to kind of spread a message. It's also a card for curiosity, gaining information, sometimes spying. Maybe there was spying going on in relation to the Tower, but here, because of this Herald of Change, it's almost as if you're going to be looking at maybe a new way of approaching communications, a new way of solving problems, and really being curious about finding your truth. So let's go ahead and get some clarification. I know the Death and the Tower card are kind of screaming for clarification, but I want to take a look at this Page of Swords here. You have the Eight of Pentacles, and this kind of indicates a card of work, like jobs, but it's also a card of like learning and growing and taking your skills and your talents and really investing in those so that they can pay off in the future and become something of value in the material world. It's also a card to kind of, indicate that you have been doing these things, that you are really, when it comes to possibly a buzz about you that is going on, that you're being recognized, you are kind of staying on top of your game, where you are kind of talking about the strawberry supermoon and helping us see what's ripe for the picking. It's almost that you have pretty much put yourself in a position to make things ripe for the picking for you. So if it's especially when it comes to communication, so a sense of kind of right place, right time, but an opportunity kind of being open to you. But it's not just by happenstance, it's not just by luck, it's by having prepared and being ready. So, being ready for an examination of some sort, being ready to, be promoted unexpectedly, or even asked to be promoted, because you've really put in a lot of effort so far. And so here, even though there's these, major changes going on for you, it seems that in some respects you are really in a good position and poised to deal with these things, because you have you've really been curious about things. You have been trying to communicate well and pursue truths and problem solve in a way where you are using your talents and your skills to advance you. So let's take a look at this Tower now. You have the Seven of Wands. This is a card of inner conviction and standing your ground. So it could be that something that you had some inner knowing about, that you really were questioned about, you stood up for, that kind of may have kind of been exposed for, not that you were in the wrong place, but possibly a belief that you had about it that was either misunderstood or built up in a way that wasn't supported by the facts. And that really is kind of the source of that Tower moment. So let's take a look at the Death card. To some degree, it could be that you even though you've been doing well, that you are ready, that you are poised, that to some degree, it could be that this learning phase may have contributed to maybe a disbelief here and feeling that you needed to kind of assert yourself in a certain way, maybe because you didn't want to look like you didn't know, or you were still in the process of learning and gathering information. But I'll save that for over here where we get into this deep dive. Let's take a look at this Death card here. You have the Wheel of Fortune. So definitely things are changing. And this transformation that you're going through it's going to be a significant change. This could be part of something, part of your destiny, part of really what needed to change, whatever loss or assessment, things that are no longer for your best and highest good, these things here that are not transforming with you, whatever it is that you are leaving behind, it kind of indicates that, you know, it's something that really needed to occur. So here, let's get into this Swan Spirit, this time for a deep dive. With this, you know, Swan Spirit, it's a sense of really looking beyond what's on just superficial on the surface and figuring out what you might not be aware of. Possibly, you know, that may have contributed to this situation over here when you're in the process of gathering information, and information you were gathering could have just been, you know, on one level what you believed, you know, was all that was there, but this card is kind of asking you to go deeper and kind of tap into other sources of where information might come from. So to some degree, it's a sense of possibly even needing to tap into your intuition. And here with the Sun, it's an interesting card because it typically indicates joy and happiness and enlightenment. But it's also a sense of your ego, a sense of how you want to be seen in the world. And unlike the traditional Sun card that's got a nude child riding on a white horse that indicates purity and innocence, you have this like totally ripped person, abs and muscles. That's, you know, the center of the universe going on there. And so kind of it's interesting the contrast in those two different Sun cards, because that's an example of this diving deeper. You know, what is this card supposed to convey that the other card doesn't convey? Why is it more about, you know, is it more about ego here, the potential for ego to really affect that sense of innocence and purity? But here, this is definitely asking you to question things. You know, if someone gives you an answer, if it's not sitting with you well, to kind of ask, you know, why is that? Just being curious and figure out more. And what's interesting is, even though it's over here in your truth, this first house of arrival kind of has to do with appearances as well, and first impressions, and kind of you know, looking at something deeper and not looking at the shallowness of what's being presented. So here, the Knight of Cups, it's a sense of imagination, creativity, and love, and that pursuit. So for some of you, this can be about a relationship that you had, a romantic relationship. For others, it may be a work situation, especially with the Eight of Pentacles, but we'll get into it a little bit more as it's time for a deep dive. With the Six of Swords, this is a card of like transitions. It is a card of healing and kind of being between two shores. This symbol over here is symbol for Pluto, and this is a symbol for Aquarius. Pluto's associated with the Judgment card, Aquarius associated with the Star card. So concept of like healing and honest reflections is what those two symbols are about. And for the Six of Swords, this is also about healing and also about honest reflections, because the traditional Six of Swords, there's like a mother figure, a cloaked mother figure, and a cloaked child in the boat, and the ferryman is kind of steering the boat from turbulent waters into smoother waters. And there is an understanding that wherever they are going, it relates to the past and moving away from where they were to a better future, and a sense of healing needing to go on there, and having, you know, that honest reflection of what that, you know, the place that they are leaving, that wasn't serving their best and highest good. So let's take a look here at the Knight of Cups, because ultimately, however, you know, whatever needs to be healed, whatever tower transformation is going on, you still want the outcome to be where you are open to giving and receiving love of all kinds. So let's take a look at the Knight of Cups. And also this seahorse. Doesn't look like a swan, but in terms of the visual, the shape of the nose, it's of the seahorse, and then the swan. It's kind of similar, or it kind of resonates with me. So let's see what the Knight of Cups brings. You have the Devil. And you know, for some of you, this may have to do with a pattern of your relationships. Perhaps you tend to give your power away to others for some type of instant relief, instant pleasure, that's really not sustainable in the long term. And and that this here is something for you to really take that deep dive into and kind of ask that question of why. Was there something on the surface that you just kind of accepted and went with without digging deeper, because you didn't want to ask if there's something more, if there's something deeper going on, because that would have made things not as instant, as quick as just kind of accepting what's there, accepting what's happening, but really asking deeper questions, getting behind what's on the surface is really what allows for deeper connections with feelings, with others. So let's take a look at the Six of Swords over here. You have the Knight of Swords. And this is a card of taking action and really needing to, called to jump into action to protect individuals, to seek the truth. So here, in terms of this healing that's going on, make sure that you are not rushing through it, and that you actually are experiencing this transition, because it does seem to be part of your destiny, and there's something to learn there. Beneath the surface there is something deeper of answering questions that you might not even know about. And with the Two of Wands clarifying the Sun, it's kind of making me look at this big ball. I think it's supposed to be the globe. In the traditional Two of Wands, there's an individual that is kind of out on the top of a castle and looking out, holding a globe of the world in their hands. And so here, this ball, it's like that globe, and kind of asks whether or not that globe can fit between these two wands. Is it too big? Is it an optical illusion? Is it coming or is it going? So the Two of Wands is kind of about getting outside of your comfort zone and recognizing there is something more than what you've experienced, something more than, what traditionally is there, something beyond the surface that is more meaningful. So here, the truth that is leading you to is this first house of arrival, of appearances. This could be how you want to be seen. This can apply to how you see others. This has to do with perceptions. And, there's studies that say that you are being judged in the first 7 seconds of someone kind of seeing you. There's already an assessment of how you look, the clothes you're wearing, how you style yourself. Maybe even if you are talking at that moment, the tone of your voice, and it's something that we all do instinctively, automatically, and it's can be a call to kind of see whether there is how you interact, or how you interact with the world Do you operate off of what's in this, what you see in the first 7 seconds? Do you go deeper than that? Do you allow others to kind of believe you are who they think you are when they kind of assess you in those first 7 seconds? So here, you've got the 5 of Swords, you've got the 5 of Cups, and 5s are about instability, chaos, conflict, competition, and here with the 5 of Swords, this is kind of a sense of winning at all costs. That the idea, in order for, that there has to be a winner, and for someone to win, someone has to lose. Not knowing when to walk away from a lose-lose situation. And here with the 5 of Cups, the sense of grief, of loss, sadness, and with the Page of Cups, this is a card of, looking at the world through the eyes of a child with a sense of wonder, imagination, possibilities, creativity, and thinking that, anything is possible. However, here with these 5s, it's as if there's certain beliefs that are being adhered to where the potential future is very limited. That belief that there's only winners and losers, or the belief that if things aren't wonderful, if you don't have everything that you want, then things are, just horrible. For some of you, there is a definite need to heal. You've got the six of Swords over here. You've got the Tower. You've got the Death card. So there's, and you've got the Devil card here, clarifying the Knight of Cups. So there seems to be real deep opportunity for investigation, to look at why things are the way they are and to change those things, and a big opportunity to heal. If you're thinking, there's nothing for me to heal, I'm absolutely fine, then again, it kind of brings about this first house of arrival question, this truth that all this is leading you to, of whether or not how you are perceived and how you actually feel, those match up, and kind of taking some responsibility in how you're perceived, and whether you actually look deeper than surface level, and whether you want people to look deeper than surface level when it comes to you. So let's take a look here at the Page of Cups. As the Page of Cups, also, it's a sensitive individual. They're vulnerable. And here, the 5 of Swords, this energy is like, there is no vulnerability. You just cut everything out. You just cut everything away that might even be seen as vulnerable. And with the 5 of Cups, there is vulnerability and sensitivity, but it's almost kind of only those things. Kind of, what's the word? Dwelling in those things. And what I'm kind of noticing is the 5 of Cups is Mars in Scorpio. Over here, the Tower is associated with with Mars. And that's a planet that indicates war and conflict. With Scorpio, it's, death, transformation. So it seems this transformation, this tower situation here is really connected to the Five of Cups over here. So let's take a look at the Five of Cups. You have the Eight of Swords, and this is about limiting beliefs, kind of feeling that you don't have authority or power can be connected to this Devil card, where is also a concept of someone having power or authority over you. In both of these situations, though, you do have the power, and it is a perception, a choice of how you use that. And with the Eight of Cups and Eight of Swords and the Five of Cups, it may be that it's really going to be difficult for you to see this situation or see a way out of this situation, but it really is kind of this week looks like it's setting up for you to really explore these feelings and do that deep dive, ask the questions why, and get into more of the healing aspect here. So let's take a look at the Five of Swords. You have the Six of Swords. You have the Six of Swords here, and you have the Six of Swords here. So definitely seems that, the universe, spirit, definitely wants you to recognize this transition you're going through and heal from it, and get, you can't get the sense of balance and harmony that these cards are offering without actually going deeper and seeing what's there, seeing maybe how you talk to yourself, think about problems, how you communicate to yourself about problems. That is really contributing to this. So let's see what's going on with the Page of Cups. You have the Six of Pentacles, and this is another card of balance and harmony, balancing wants and needs. It may be that you may find yourself in a situation where you're going to need assistance from others, and ask for that help. And once you are kind of in a place where you've healed, where you've achieved that balance and harmony, you'll be able to kind of pay that back. And it's also making me think about the traditional Six of Pentacles. It shows an individual that has money kind of next to two kneeling people that are dressed in a way that's kind of indicates that they're poor. They have like ripped clothes, it's torn, and this individual is giving one of the two some coins, and the individual who has the money is also holding a scale, like a scale for Libra, over the individual that he's not giving any money to. The individual who's not getting the money has something in their pocket. It's like a red piece of fabric that's sticking out of their pocket that's really out of place. And what's interesting is the person that has money is dressed in red. So it kind of is a question of what's going on? Why did that individual not get money? What is the reason for that red piece of fabric sticking out of that pocket? Is it possibly that this individual isn't getting money from the person who has the money because that individual took something, and the person with the money knows it? So really getting into, getting past what you see on the surface and asking those questions why, and like pulling it like a string to see where it leads, see where the potential is, see how things fit together in a way that you don't expect, because you're asking those questions why, because you are moving past superficial appearances or certain beliefs that, on the surface might have been good enough in the past. So it seems like this is going to be a big week for you, and I'm hoping this provides a helpful perspective of that week, and we'll see you next time. Take care.